Hey guys, just want to say welcome back to the vlog. I missed you too. Took a little time off to spend with some family, and I'm back. Anyway, sit back, relax, enjoy. Here it comes. Bought into the game for 500. Haven't had much to play my first hour until I looked down at 2 kings in the cutoff. There was 1 limper. I make it 20. I get a call from the player on the button and the small blind. So we're going to go 3 ways to this flop with $66 in the center. Well, you know how it is. Every time you have pocket kings, first thing you see is an ace on board. Lucky for me, it came with ace of clubs, 6 of clubs, and a 3 of clubs. And I do have 2 black kings. Small blind checked it over. I'm going to continue like I have something. I do have the nut flush draw, and you can call it second pair. Button folds out, holding my breath, and the small blind folds. So we win a small pot to break the ice. Well, it's about a half hour later, and I'm in the small blind with king, queen. Get a bunch of limpers. I decided just to raise it up, try to just take it down. But I get 2 players that are interested in participating. So we see a flop that comes ace high with a queen and 9 of diamonds. I do have a gut shot. I'm just going to try to represent that I have an ace at this point. It's a good board for me to c-bet. So I bet out for $30. Both players fold, and we win another small one. Find myself with king, queen offsuit again. This time I decided to raise to 15 from the +1 position. And everyone decided they kind of want to play. Well, not everyone, but at least 5 other people. So we're going 6 ways to this flop. And, well, let's see if I can hit something. Flop comes out, queen, deuce, deuce. It's quickly checked to me. I decided to check this one and just to see what happened behind me. Everyone else checks. Turn card comes as a blank 3 of spades. I can bet this hand, or I can go ahead and make my checking range a little bit stronger by checking it again. This will give someone an opportunity to bluff at it. And the player 2 to my left decides that this is the perfect time to do it. He puts out a bet of $80. Now he could have something like a deuce still, perhaps, not likely. More likely he has a queen with a weaker kicker. And I'm just going to let him value own himself. The other players fold out. I go ahead and put in the call for the $80. Planning on just checking it to him. The only real card I'm worried about is an ace. But we get a 3 of hearts on the river. So I check it over. If he has a queen, I'll let him blast off. If he has a bluff, I'll let him blast off. He decides on 125. And of course, I'm making the call. I just throw in 25 of it, and he shows ace 9 offsuit. So I think I got the max value out of this, and I also protected my checking range for future endeavors. I find myself in the big blind with a real hand, 2 kings. There is a $18 raise and 2 people call. This is an excellent spot to squeeze if I had a hand that was squeeze worthy. The kings are definitely fall in that category. So I made my squeeze look exactly like the sizing I would use if I had something like ace queen, ace jack, ace 5. Anyway, sometimes I'm not going to get action on it, but that's okay. When I squeeze, sometimes I have it, and sometimes I don't. I haven't been catching too many cards today, so I decided to take a break and get some work done and come back the next day. Hopefully cards will be better. Well, the next day gets here and things are basically the same as they were the day before. I'm pretty much card dead until I get a pair of 6s. Open up for $15 from under the gun +1. I get 1 caller from the low jack, and when it gets over to the player in the cutoff who has a very short stack, He decides to just ship it all in there for $56. Now, normally when this comes back around to me, I probably just fold this. It's basically at the bottom of my range, and I really don't want to play it with a player behind me. So I decided, well, let's just go ahead and put in a raise here, try to isolate him, and I'll take my chances that I'm flipping with a person with like a big ace, like ace king or ace queen. If he has a pair, I'm toast, but you know, that'll be $41 extra down the drain. So I make it 116, just to clear out the other player. Yeah, sometimes plans don't work out the way you think. The other player now decides that he's going to ship, and he goes all in, and he has me covered. Not the exact response I wanted, but I'm going to be making this call. And the reason is, I think that the player who shipped is very heavy on ace king, ace queen type of hands, and very light on pairs. So again, I'm calling with the bottom of my range. I opened with the bottom of my range, made a move with the bottom of my range, and now calling off all my chips with the bottom of my range. But I actually think I'm ahead at this point. So I couldn't fold it, not for the odds I'm getting, and not for the hands I'm putting them on. Flop does come queen high. He doesn't look like he liked it too much. Turn is a deuce. I'm looking for a blank, and it comes the jack of hearts. He emphatically turns over his ace king offsuit. Yeah, he made a straight. The other player also had ace king. So I get stacked in a hand that I probably could have just avoided completely. I reload for another 500, and a few minutes later I pick up ace queen offsuit, middle position. I make it 20. It's folded around to the player in the small blind. Same player from before with the ace king that chopped the pot. He goes all in for $79. I say, I don't think I can fold for that amount. So I go ahead and I stick in the money, and we're flipping maybe again. Maybe I'm behind. Well, we'll soon find out. Flop comes out 9, 6, 5. Turn card is a king. Not good, but I do pick up a flush draw. River, queen, I make a pair. I can beat jacks now. He slow rolls the king, queen. Yep, another one bites the dust. I end up buying some more chips and making a table change, and here I have ace queen again. I'm under the gun. I make it 15. I get a call, a call, a call, a call. Comes back around to the big blind, and he does not put in the call. He makes a small raise to 45. He has the shortest stack at the table, which the rest of the table is very deep. And with ace queen, I think I either have to fold this or 3-bet it. And since he has a short stack, I am not going to be folding. I decided to make it $140. Get those other players out, and I'll take my chances with ace queen against this player in the big blind. Everyone does end up folding, and he goes and just makes the call. He has about $110 behind. Looking for a good flop, and we get another 8-5-5 flop. He shoves all in. I figure he has a medium-sized pocket pair, but for $110, I don't think I can fold at this point. I make the call. Run out comes with a 9 and then a 7. He says, I missed, and he chucked his cards over towards the dealer. They landed face up, and he has ace king. I tell him I can't beat that, and he wins. All right, things are not going well so far today. I am in this game for $2,000. Find myself with 2 queens on the button. Player open for $15. Player to my right calls the 15. I put in a raise, and I thought that would be pretty strong, but apparently $80 is not going to scare either one of these players off. They decide to make the call. So we have about $240 in the pot. Flop comes out 9, 8, 7 rainbow. Horrible flop for 2 queens. A lot of like 2 pair and straight combos are out there. Some can even a pair and a straight draw. I thought the opponent who opened for a raise had a hand like pocket jacks or tens. If he had nines, I was just going to throw up because I'm a little bit hot, a little bit stuck, and I don't feel like folding much at this point. When it's checked to me, I put out a bet for 125. He thinks for a while and then decides to put in a raise to 250. I thought if he flopped a set, he would probably raise more, trying to protect his hand against straight draws. So to me, this looks like he has a straight, or he has pocket tens or pocket jacks, and is kind of afraid of the overcards if he lets another player in. I don't know. I think that most of the time I would probably end up folding this to that raise or calling it, but I don't have that much behind after I make the call. It's like another $200 behind after I make the call. And as I said, I'm not in the mood of folding, so I'm just going to stick it in there and hope for the best. I'm pretty sure this is the wrong move, and at the time, I didn't care too much. Anyway, I shove it in. He snap calls. Run out comes with a 7 of hearts. Good card for me. River's a 9, not very good. I show my queens, and he does, in fact, have a Jack 10 suited. His play made perfect sense. Good for him. All right, so I was having a pretty bad day, down $2,000. I started packing up all my gear, getting ready to leave. And I realized I had probably about 4 hands before the blinds got to me. So I said, all right, let me just get another 500. So I pulled another 500 out, got dealt in, don't have my camera set up, don't have my notebook, everything's put away. End up winning a small pot, and I get chipped up to about $700 when the big blind comes to me. I end up taking the big blind. Player to my left opens for $20, normally a very solid player. I think he's having a rough day. He moved over from a different table. He's a shorter stack than I'm used to seeing him, so I think he might have lost a couple pots. And he had about $360, $370 in the stack. He opens for 20, get 3 people call for the 20. I decided to put in the call from the big blind with Queen 9 of hearts. Flop comes out 9 high with 2 clubs and 1 heart. Pretty good flop for Queen 9. I got top pair, backdoor flush draw. I check. Player to my left bets for $40. He gets called in 2 spots. I think this is an easy call in this spot. I don't think there's too much value in raising if he has an overpair or something like that. He's just going to shove on me. I'd rather see the turn card before I commit any more chips, so I call. Turn card comes is a 3 of hearts. Good turn card. I pick up the backdoor flush draw. Check it to him. He now shoves all in for $290. It's about a pot-sized bet. First player tanks for a very long time. My read on him was that he had a flush draw in clubs, trying to figure out whether he's getting the right price. He decides to fold, which is fine. The other player folds out quickly, and it's back to me. Thinking that this player is probably more likely to have overpairs in this spot, or perhaps he could be on a flush draw himself with the club draw and is just trying to scare out me and the other players. I think it's an easy call. I got, top pair, flush draw. I'm getting, 2-1 on the pot odds. I think I got to put the chips in. So I put the chips in. River card comes is a blank 8. So I missed the flush. Pretty much feeling like I'm toast at this point. And he says that he has a pair of 9s, and figure that he raised pre-flop. I figured that most likely he has a bigger 9 than I do, and he rolls over Jack 9. So I outkick him. I win a pot. I wasn't really expecting to win this pot, but I did. A little while later, I pick up pocket queens. There is a $6 straddle. 1 player limps in. I make it 35 with my queens. I end up getting 4 callers, or 5 callers for the 35. So we're going 6 ways to this flop with a little over $200 in the pot. Flop comes out Jack 5-4 rainbow. Good flop for queens. Can't ask for too much more besides flopping a set. First two players check. I bet $90, a little less than half pot. Player in the cutoff puts in the call, and now the player on the button, who was the same player who beat me with Jack 10 when last time I had pocket queens, he raises to 240, so 150 more. It's folded around to me. I think that this is an interesting raise. I'm not sure whether he would do this with a hand like Ace Jack. I think he's more likely to do it with hands like pocket fours, pocket fives, 4-5 suited, 4-5, with two pair, and maybe occasionally with hands like 7-6, trying to buy like a free card. So I think I need to go ahead and call. Only thing I'm really worried about is the 5-4s and the pocket fives and the pocket fours, which is a big deal. Don't get me wrong. It's we're both very deep at this point, and I don't want to get felted again. So I put in the call. The other player folds out. Turn card comes as now a jack. So, all right, it's less likely he had a jack. I really didn't think he had one to begin with. And I think this is actually a good card for me, even though it's very scary when you have an overpair and the top pair on board pairs. I check it to him, and he puts out a smaller size bet for the size of the pot. I think it was like 125 or something like that. And, I naturally am going to call. I feel that if he had pocket fours or fives, he would put in a larger size bet, thinking that I might have a jack and he wanted to get build the pot big enough where he can shove on me on the river. So I'm more leaning to he might have something like 5-4 and is kind of testing the waters on the bluff. He could still have a hand like 7-6 for the open and straight draw. But I don't think he has a jack at this point. But he could definitely have pocket fours and fives, and is just kind of trying to draw me in. River card comes is a king of hearts. I check immediately. Now he assembles a bet for $300. Again, I don't think he has pocket fours or fives. I feel he would have bet bigger. Seeing that I called his last bet. So I think he's definitely more bluff heavy than value heavy at this point. So I go ahead and make the call. He says, I'm good. I say, good, just throw your hand away. I don't want to see it. I don't want to show mine. And so he wanted to see my hand. So he turned over 6-3 of hearts for a flopped open-ender that missed. I showed my pocket queens, and we take down a very large pot. As I'm stacking the chips, I look down at my next hand, and sure enough, I got pocket queens again. And I'm going, man, this is going to be an amazing comeback. Player to my right opens under the gun for $15. Naturally, I raise it up to 45. Player 2 to my left now decides to make it 165. And what's really scary about this is he was planning to leave. He has all his chips racked up, and he's been playing pretty damn snug. So this is definitely a premium hand, aces, maybe kings. And it's folded back around to the player to my right. And if he folds, I'm just going to fold the hand because I know he has aces or kings here. And I don't think I'm getting the right price. But the player to my right decides to put in the call. So I'm going, all right. I'm probably still not getting the right price, but the player who put in the cold 4-bet has a pretty good size stack, like around $1,300 or so. Player to my right has over 500. I go, all right, for $120, can I flop a queen? If I flop a queen, I think I can double through someone, maybe both of them. So it's kind of a loose call, but I put in the call with the pocket queens. Flop comes out all bricks, like 9 high bricks. First player checked. I check. I'm surrendering. The player to my left puts in a decent sized bet. I forget the exact amount. Player to the right now decides, well, he's just going to go with his hand, and he shoves. I make an easy fold. The other guy makes a quick call. Turns out player to my right had pocket jacks. Player to my left had pocket kings. So saved some money, but really, I wish the guy to the right would have folded, because I would have just folded and saved an additional $120. I played for a little bit longer just to see if I can get my way back to even, which the game was still good, but I was tired, and I was happy with the comeback I made. On that first day, I ended up winning $415. Second day, I lost $690, but it could have been a whole lot worse. I did not play very well. I do apologize for not getting footage of those last 3 hands. I try to recreate it the best of my memory. Some of the suits or maybe some of the bet sizes might be a little bit off, but those were basically how the hands went down. Really do appreciate you guys stopping in and watching the videos. It really means a lot to me that you guys are enjoying it. So please like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. It does help out the channel grow. And next week's video is going to be a good one. It was the session I recently played, and there are some very, very interesting spots that are going to come up, and I think you guys are going to really like that one. So make sure you check it out next week. Until then, good luck at the tables, and we'll see you back here soon.